My first impressions were that he was very sweet. He seemed quite shy. He said, "May I put my hand on your knee?" And I said, "Okay, go on then." So it was quite sweet that he asked. You know, he said, "I don't usually do this, but, you know, he said, I'd love to see you tomorrow. Can we meet for breakfast?" And we had breakfast, and then at the end of breakfast, he said, "Will you come and have lunch with me?" So then we went for lunch, and then he said, "Will you come to dinner?" And then I remember one evening he said, would you like to come back to my hotel room so we can look at rocket videos? And I thought, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come back. And we did get into his hotel room and he did just show me rocket videos. I mean, I was very young when I met Elon. I was 22, so I hadn't really, yeah, that was it, school and a bit of acting. I remember thinking, wow, what an incredible man. Never met anyone like him. And I was just thinking about him, and so I emailed him and said, okay, well, I've got some time after this shoot, so I'm going to book a flight to LA, and I've never been to LA. I'll book myself a holiday, and it would be lovely to see you. And he wanted to sort of, you know, fly me over and sort it all out, and I was like, no, it's fine, I'll take care of it. And then he said, I don't want you to go home, and I want to marry you. And he apologized. He said, I'm sorry, I don't have a ring. He's like, but this is, you know, this is what I'd like to do. And so we shook hands on it, and I said, yes, I will do. My father told my mother at the end of their first date that he was going to marry her. And so I think I was primed to think that after 10 days, you know, I thought, yep, that's how it happens, that's what love is, and...
Do that thing, Dad.
You know, obviously moved straight into the house with the children, and it became a very real thing immediately.
He was trying to avoid bankruptcy. Every day, Elon would come home and say, tomorrow, that's it. Being ridiculed in the press, horrible things being said. There was something called the Tesla Death Watch at the time, which was an internet site kind of counting down the days till when Tesla was going to disappear.
Electric car maker Tesla laying off 20% of the workforce, 24%.
He'd have night terrors in the middle of the night. I'd be fast asleep, and then suddenly he would be screaming in his sleep and sort of trying to climb up, like in his sleep, trying to escape something. All available resource had to be plowed into the projects, into the companies. You know, he gave me an out. He said, this is going to be the hard path, and you don't have to stay for it. It was really awful. He'd plowed his money into Tesla and SpaceX. He was under incredible stress. I was worried he was going to have a heart attack. I just kept thinking, God, I've just got to keep this guy alive. It was one of the bad Christmases. He'd forgotten to get me a Christmas present. We were in Boulder, Colorado, so there's loads and loads of snow. And we were in bed, and he said, I do, you know, he's not that I don't love you, I do really, really love you. He's just, it's like, you know, my brain is exploding. And I was like, no, I know, it's fine. And he sort of got up in the middle of the night and disappeared. I was like, where has he gone? And he came back 2 hours later, and he'd gone outside in his t-shirt and shorts, barefoot, and he'd gone and like dug through the snow and picked flowers. Like he'd walked all over Boulder and like came back with a little bouquet of picked flowers. And he was like, I just wanted to show you how much I loved you. He was very supportive of me having a career. But I had to come back and do St. Trinian's 2, and it was the first time we'd been apart. And he sent 2 lorry loads of flowers to set for me. And he'd also found out from production the name of every woman on set, and he'd sent them all flowers and champagne and chocolate, so that then when he came to visit, everyone was like, oh, hi.
It's on the card, here.
I remember at the premiere, he came along and he was holding my umbrella for me while I was doing some signings. No one knew who Elon was. He was very sweet and lovely, and he has a kind of innocence to him. What I mean by that is that he feels with incredible purity the emotion that he is feeling at the time, whatever that emotion is. He feels things very, very deeply. So, you know, I've heard it said that he's cold and emotionless, and that could not be further from the truth. He is the most emotional person I know. One of the things I remember really early on is we'd gone to the cinema, and we were watching some comedy, and Elon found the film so funny that he literally fell on the floor and was like rolling around, holding his tummy, laughing. And everyone else in the cinema was looking at us like, what the hell is going on over there? And I was sort of like, Nick, come on, get up off the floor. But he was just enraptured by what was on screen, and he was feeling it. And he feels things. And, you know, if he feels anger, you know it's there. You know, anything, it goes deep. He told me all about his childhood growing up. I think his childhood shaped him in a lot of ways. I think he knows what it's like to be bottom of the pack, to be hurt by people that you should be able to trust. And obviously, I think that leaves scars.